Thank you. Senator Scullion.
Madam Acting Deputy President, I rise today to also make a contribution to this debate. I think it is important to have a look at the steps that Australia has taken in ensuring that the uranium that we trade with other nations, and yes, it's been pointed out, we don't have a nuclear industry as such, and in fact the only place that we have anything to do with nuclear products in the sort of context we're talking about today, we actually have to purchase our materials from other parts of the world as part of the non-proliferation treaty and return those rods when they leave the country. And of course that is our research facility at Lucas Heights. And as I've said often in this place, we need to remind ourselves what the consequences are of not having such a place. And of course we enjoy a wonderful health system in this country, and a fundamental part of that health system is, of course, access to radiopharmaceuticals for the detection and ameliorating as we can within our technology the effects of cancer. And many lives are saved by its detection and by its removal. And without that, I don't believe that many Australians, when they understand the full context of what we're asked to do by those people who say that we shouldn't mine it, we shouldn't use it, and we shouldn't store it, and we shouldn't be responsible for the material that we send away and then have to return. But that's been a consistent approach from the Greens, a very consistent approach, and at least for that I'll commend them. But if I could just briefly, in terms of the ex-Premier of South Australia, Mike Rann, and his sudden embracing of the sale of uranium to India, and generally sort of getting on side. I can recall very well that at the last minute, after Australia had spent so much time in ensuring that we had the very best possible science as we looked around our nation as Australians together in a project that invested millions of dollars in finding out the very best place to meet our international obligations in terms of returned waste from the materials used to maintain one of the very best health systems in Australia. It was a very responsible approach, and an approach that was agreed to not only by the Commonwealth at the time under Labor, but it was also agreed to under many of the states, in fact all the states and territories. Of course that position was section 52, in portion 52 in South Australia. It was in fact Mike Rann at the time, with the great hypocrisy, who decided that he would then say, "Oh look, I've agreed to all that, but now I'm apparently changing my mind." Of course, sadly, we have now wasted taxpayers' dollars in Australia, wasted because we could have invested them in other things like hospitals and schools, but instead we've spent millions of dollars having to find another place. And again, that place is of course now in Muckaty in the Northern Territory. And whilst I agree that it appears that it's going there, and I think it's a good place to put it, I have no problems with that, but as a Territorian we would have all preferred that it had gone in the best scientific place available, and I think in this place we're always talking about best scientific evidence, and I think those are the sort of things that we could look to. I would commend the committee in their comments on Euratom, this new cooperation in the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, with a lot of safety issues in Europe, and I think the sort of work that we're doing as a nation in that area can only ensure that we can actually we've got to be in this game. We've got to be, if we want to ensure the safety of our use, we've got to be a part of those negotiations, and I think that there's been reasonable bipartisanship about that aspect of it, and it's terrific to see that eventually, for no doubt just stark political reasons, but I'm not here necessarily today to question the motive, but I certainly think as a Territorian the fact that we're now going to be selling uranium to India is a terrific thing.